Healing, we hear it all the time. What exactly is healing? Well, healing is finding your inner child and bringing that inner child back out. That vulnerability, your foundation, the true being of who you are, and not the character that you're actually playing in the survival matrix reindeer game. Let's start from the beginning. Your energy. The energy is your soul, which is your frequency. Love, not an emotion, a state of being. That is who you truly are. And you're embodying this body, which is a plant. Relearn your nutrition as you are 5. As well as your mind and ego are all separate entities. So there's 3, mind, body, and soul. And you have to align all of those. Your ego, when you are in your survival, is in a defense mechanism. It is there to protect you. But it's also lying to you because it's telling you that you're wrong. It's not going to let you have a different perception or perspective because it's trying to defend you. It doesn't know any better. That's where you have to get your emotional intelligence and have control over this ego and mind, because you have been programmed and conditioned to play this game enslaved and to forget who you are. First 3 years of your life, you know what you are deep down inside, and you can see everyone else's energy and auras, light, however you want to call it. Now, this is where it gets messy. Because in this first 3 years is where our ego decides on where it's going to play the rest of this game. Now, the big telltale sign in this is alcohol. And where you go from there is a whole different world. Because if your mother ingested alcohol, she doesn't have to abuse it. She could have just ingested it. You didn't even have to see her ingest it. But because she did, it changes the light because it's a carcinogenic. It is our kryptonite to our light and our soul. That's why it's called spirits, grain alcohol. The more you know. Now, with that being said, what does that do to the child? That actually puts the child in their narcissistic ego. What is a narcissistic ego? A narcissistic ego is turtle mode, God mode, if you want to call it a game. Because, yeah, what is God mode? A cheat sheet where you turn all your empathy inside towards yourself. You don't have it towards anyone else, but you know how much power you truly have. So you inflict it on everyone else. This is why they kind of get what they want, because they live in this delusion, because they have to. They have to live in this lie because their entire foundation and security has been ripped away from them as an infant, and they didn't understand it. If your mother turned to a dark shadow and an ugly monster, what do you think that would happen to you? Do you think you would be all right with that? That would take away your safety. That would take away your foundation, your core. That would instill shame and guilt to you in your core. And as an infant, no one has told you why you're carrying it around when it's not even yours to begin with. And it never was. Instilled it. And then the game programmed and conditioned you to not ask any more questions and to believe whatever was told to you. By the age of 5, the veil fell down. And now you're stuck in that ego. The other side of this coin is borderline personality disorder. You know, because the Matrix has to put everything in a label in a box. And if it helps you understand it a bit more, then great, because all this is for. Figuring out where your ego actually really is. Are you under lock and key, under turtle mode, where empathy is all inside and you are internalizing that mother wound, guilt and shame, and inflicting it like a porcupine on everything else because you're playing victim mentality? Or are you borderline personality where you have your empathy towards everyone else, but you are self-sabotaging yourself at a rate that is detrimentally time-bombish, and you are just as toxic when it comes to relationships and the manipulation word salad, because we are all the same. It just depends on where the shame and guilt comes from. that we can eternally let go, because we have never had shame or guilt, and we were never wrong, and you were never born with sin. You are enough. You're more than enough. Remember who you are. And know that we heal. We heal naturally. Your body heals. Your mind heals. So does your ego. It all has to relieve the shame, the guilt, and the abandonment. You abandoned yourself as much as your parents abandoned you or your lover. So, yeah. And again, this is just theory, not fact.